welcome back. Isha, I'd like to ask you this question. Okay, I mean, you're young, and I'm sure some of your friends have also probably brought this up. So when you look at the priest, diba? So, and then sabi, bawal daw contraception. Para bang, has it ever cropped up na, okay, fine, you're just a bunch of grumpy old single men. Ayaw mo lang kasi kami mag-enjoy. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, let's think about it. The priests are there. They're advising us on certain doctrines of the Catholic Church. And personally, as a Catholic, of course, I stand by these rules. Kasi po, if you're a Catholic, obviously, do everything according. You have to have this fear of the Lord, talaga. But when it comes to this fun thing, okay, let's be honest. Obviously, this what they're doing is quote unquote fun, but what you derive from it is a certain pleasure. Na you can't take away from this what we have as body, the body of the human person. And when you engage in the sexual act, of course, there's pleasure derived from that. And sorry,
no, but the thing here is that you're a humanities student, right?
Yes.
And so, what would happen if the priests got their way and nagkaroon tayo ng and bawal nga talaga contraception?
Yes.
Then lahat na ng mga novels and literature sa Earth would now be boring kasi wala nang sex doon sa mga novels na yun eh. What do you say to that?
Well, the thing is, you have to clarify that this sex is really within marriage, because that's the proper place to put it, where you have a man and woman who want to give themselves to each other for love, and who want it as a total unity, indissoluble. You can't destroy it. It lasts forever, and one that is open to life. Meaning, if you have contraceptive, you won't be open to life at all, and that would be really unfair for the love that is at stake. And finally, of course, it's the procreation, having that life.
You know, there's a study, and they interviewed and surveyed people on how satisfying their sex life is. No? And they interviewed people who were married, and those who were cohabiting, and those who were just single having fun. No? And those who had the most fun, those who had the most satisfying sex life were the married people.
Yeah.
Huh? So
I
that
saw
means,
that report as well.
Huh?
I saw that report as well.
Yeah.
There's also one between the ones with the Germans and the Japanese. That's a different study.
Yeah,
But that's an interesting study.
Yeah, but then, that is a reason, because you were talking about natural law here. No, you mentioned Naturang Batas. And Naturang Batas is all about reason. And if you can see that, I mean, if you analyze that, it's like that because once you use your reason, in terms of pleasure, and that's what the church does, no? Tells us, use your reason when you're using pleasurable things, no? Then you enhance, in fact, the pleasure.
Yes.
In fact, yung mga tao nagpipig out, no? Kain sila ng kain, no? Madaming pagkain dyan. In fact, mas konti yung kasayahan nun than somebody who knows how to arrange the food, put the right combination of food together, no? Like the chefs, no? They think a lot about the food, but they are the ones who are exquisite in their enjoyment of the pleasure.
Kumbaga, kung hindi ka nag-pig out, afterwards, at least maganda pa pakiramdam mo.
Yeah, also, that's the other aspect.
That's an interesting point. Philip, the other thing that sinasabi naman nila is that, okay, fine, diba? You have these doctrines, these nice reasonings against contraception, but let's say you have may isang, for example, family living as a squatter, 10 na yung anak, wala na ngang pera pang suporta ng kanilang pamilya, tapos nagmamahalan naman yung dalawang mag-asawa, you're telling, kumbaga sinasabi pa nila, well, wag pa rin kayo mag-contracept, mag-anak pa rin kayo na mag-anak, saan naman kukunin yung pera? Paano yung pang-suporta? Is that really a responsible thing for the church to recommend to such type of families?
Hindi sinasabi ng simbahan na mag-anak na mag-anak eh.
Akala ko ba nakasulat sa Bible, go out and go forth and multiply? Or sinabi rin ni Pacquiao yun eh, di ba?
Well, klaro sa Humanae Vitae na in fact, ang ginamit ng salita ni Pope Paul VI is controlling eh. Salitang controlling. Galing sa salita ng Papa yun, controlling. So, ibig sabihin, pwedeng pigilin yung pag-aanak. Pero sa pamamagitan ng natural methods.
Okay. So what you're saying is that hindi sinasabi ng simbahan na mag-anak kayo na mag-anak. Ang sinasabi is magplano pa rin, pero not through contraception, pero kumbaga sa pagdisiplina sa sarili at ano. So ano ba pagkakaiba nga pala, if I may go to this na? So what's the difference na between NFP and contraception? Para bang di ba tayo parang nagloloko lang na tao na ganun din naman eh.
I'd like to emphasize na yung pagsabi mong NFP, that's cost-free. Walang bayad. So, ang problema, yung mga batas na sinusulong ngayon sa Kongreso, gagastos ng pera, ng taxpayers' money para bumili nitong mga artificial contraceptives. Pero, yung turo naman ng simbahan, mas maganda yata yung NFP kasi walang bayad. Tapos, palalakasin ito yung institusyon ng kasal. Dahil hindi ka naman pwede mag-NFP kung wala kang asawa, di ba? So, at saka, sino ba ang ayaw na magkaroon ng disiplina yung mga tao, di ba?
You have anything to add?
Yeah. I think one of the differences is, of course, the first one thing that I mentioned earlier is about the lie, no? Yung contraceptive sex is a lie, no? Supposedly, binibigay nila yung sarili nila, no? Pero, hindi naman binibigay yung fertility, no? Pero yung sa NFP, there is what I call sincere self-giving. Binibigay mo yung sarili mo, whether you are fertile or infertile. Pero binibigay mo. Diba? Tsaka the other one, I think this is the key one, is there is in the contraceptive sex a willful prevention of the entry of new human beings. Yung sinasabi ko nga kanina, no? Immortal beings, spiritual beings, beings who are fantastic, no? Parang hinahadlangan mo yung pagpasok nila sa mundo deliberately. While yung NFP walang ganun. Dahil, okay, number one, nag-a-abstain siya. Wala siyang ginagawa dun sa sexual act, nag-a-abstain siya. Or nagkakaroon ng sexual act during the time na infertile. So wala, natural. Natural talaga yung pagka walang batang lalabas, no? Hindi yung naghahadlang ka na makapasok ang isang tao.
But the thing is, yung pag-stop yung pag-prohibit sa contraception doesn't really help yung economic plight ng mga pamilya nito. I think one of the criticisms nga that they gave the church is yaman-yaman na simbahan eh. Ba't di nyo lang ibenta yung property nyo para ibigay doon sa mga pamilya nito? What do you say to that? Anybody, if you want to answer?
Napaka-inane ng argument na yun.
Inane or insane? Sorry.
Inane.
Inane.
Yung sinasabi lang assets ng simbahan, patrimonya ng Pilipinas yun eh. So, hindi natin ibebenta yung patrimonya ng bansa kasi kayamanan natin yun eh. Di ba? In the same way na we're not stopping people from, for example, ba't nanonood ka ng boxing? Why are you holding parades for a boxing champion, for example, or why are we celebrating the life of this hero? So we don't question that. So pero ito patrimonya ng simbahan to eh. Bakit? At saka hindi nila tinitingnan yung charitable works na ginagawa ng simbahan,
which is a bit
diba?
Substantial din.
Na hindi lang maingay ang simbahan kasi hindi mahilig mag-press release ang simbahan, pero maraming mahihirap ang natutulungan ng simbahan. May mga hospital, bahay ampunan, eskwelahan.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think one of the reasons why the church has to be very active sa charitable works niya is, let's accept the fact, is that the government, which I think is the main institution dapat na nagbibigay ng charity and welfare do sa mga tao, sila mismo medyo sumasablay or kulang, as you say. Also. And that's why the church has to come up with that slack. Yeah. Okay, I think one of the other criticisms that they have is that, well, don't you think that women should have that right to be able to choose whether or not how they will use their bodies, whether or not they will give birth and stuff? And I think there's only one obvious person right now we can give the question to.
I think I'm a woman.
Well, what do you say to that? I mean, as a woman, don't you think it violates your right or something?
Well, to be really honest, I hate to admit it, but of course, as women, we're the ones who have the most to lose when it comes to the man and woman sexual act, because they're the ones who give their whole selves, because they know they're the ones who are gonna be bearing the children, and obviously you would want to be taken care of by your husband, and you want your family to nourish in this love. So I think that it would be so selfish for a woman to adhere to this contraceptive life, because it would be unfair to the person that they have. But
wouldn't it be better to have contraception rather than have a bunch of teenage girls there na, pregnant, without the capability to take care of these kids, and in fact, it might even force them to go for abortion. Siguro sa takot sa magulang nila.
But you know, the thing is, as women, we have to take note na we have this dignity that is so precious that apparently our community, or rather our society, is oblivious, or they don't even have the grasp of it anymore because they don't realize how important their role is in the family and in society.
Yeah, frankly, as a guy, I think
Yes.
guys would be probably very happy kasi nga they could now have sex with any woman they want because of the fact that the consequences would simply not be there, I would believe.
For
I mean,
men. Exactly.
Walang anak.
yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, but in fact, that is what has happened with the advent of contraception in the United States. No? So there is this study of George Akerlof, no? As a Nobel Prize winner. Nakita niya na pagka nagkaroon na ng contraception, wala na ngang sense of responsibility yung mga lalaki, no? Because then they just go on binges, no? And then with that, he saw, no? That there were more single mothers, no?
Broken families.
Fatherless children. And then also yung mga lalaki, since wala na silang asawa, undomesticated sila. Ang daming mga gimmick, puro gimmick ng gimmick, inuman, no? So nagkaroon na ngayon ng greater crime, sabi, more drug, greater crime, no? And then because of all of these things, more poverty. Yan ang nakita ni
That's an interesting point kasi it's in relation to the question I want. It actually leads to more poverty rather than being a solution to poverty.
That is right.
Well, we'll have to take a break, and when we come back, we'll take up more of these issues, and also with regard to the fact that, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate email about this, the fact that actually contraception, aside from the fact that it's a bit harmful sa morals and sa restraints and virtues and whatever, actually contraception can probably even kill you. So it's something that
Yes.
contraception kills. But in any event, that's what we'll tackle when we come back.
Okay.
See you then.